Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira to defeat Brendan Schaub. And I got that one right. Imagine that. And I'm here to talk about Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Fatima Kline. All right. Before I get the ball rolling here, let me just say I have a lot of respect for Fatima Kline. Not just for taking this fight on short notice, although that alone is enough to earn my respect. She's fighting the best girl she's ever fought, and she's doing so on a week's notice or less. And she's also moving up to 125 for this fight. So, very, very ballsy move. I don't know if ballsy is the right word. Whatever. Audacious. Very audacious move. But remove all that, and I would have enough respect for Fatima Kline anyway because of her skill set alone. This girl's got skills everywhere. I'd say overall, she's the more skilled fighter in this matchup. She's really got it going on. Sharp striker, sharper grappler, and she's got some excellent wrestling to help her make her choice of where she wants the fight to go. But I'm picking Jasmine Jasudavicius here, despite all that shit I just said. And that's because the circumstances, Fatima is taking this fight on very short notice. She is moving up in weight. And I can't say what kind of shape she's in. I'm assuming it's good shape, but I don't know if it's optimal shape because she did have a fight booked in like a month or two from now on the Contender Series. So that training camp and all that's being cut short so she can punch her ticket into the UFC. And there's no other reason to doubt her cardio or anything aside from the circumstances in this matchup. But I think the circumstances combined with the fact that Jasmine is in great shape and she is a wrestler who is a natural 125er, that's the reason I'm picking Jasmine Jasudavicius. And I heard an interview with Fatima Kline where she said so herself, that she would much prefer to fight at strawweight, and she's a natural strawweight. So she's probably felt that 10 pounds here and there, and I think she's going to feel it in this matchup. But I don't think it'll be easy for Jasmine, especially early on. I think that skill set of Fatima Kline will be shining, really regardless of where the fight takes place. But I do envision it taking place on the feet. And I think Jasmine is going to have to slow her down, and take her down. Even there, she's got to be very careful because Fatima Kline is a grappler, and she's got a lot of good threats there, and she's comfortable off her back, even though I've only really seen her on her back in submission grappling. But I don't think she's going to be overwhelmed. But I still think Jasmine is the fresher fighter, the better wrestler for sure, and she can use that wrestling advantage to make the most of her physical advantages in this fight against Fatima Kline. And that's the fight I envision. Fatima Kline doing well early, and Jasmine Jasudavicius neutralizing her down the stretch. Fatima Kline, though, has never been beaten, let alone finished. She's got a 6-0 record, and she's looked good every which way. Her skills have been there for her, but even all the traits she's needed to show, she's shown. She hasn't been put in a lot of danger at all, so I can't speak to her heart and durability and all that. But I can speak to her cardio, and that's been there for her. And her skills have also been there for her throughout these fights. She's had 3 fights go the distance. One of them was even a 4-round fight. That was her last one. And she looked good throughout all these fights, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And sure, she loses a little bit of steam, but she's generally the better fighter down the stretch. And again, the only real reason I'm doubting her is because of the circumstances combined with the fact that I heard her say she's not looking to fight at 125. That all combined with the fact that Jasmine, despite having 3 losses, she's never been finished herself, and she's lost to a better class of fighter that Fatima Kline has not had a chance to prove herself against yet. She lost to Tracy Cortez, Natalia Silva, and Elise Reed. Elise Reed is the worst fighter I guess she's lost to, and she's still a very good fighter, Elise Reed. And Jasmine had her moments in that fight. She was having her way with Elise Reed, taking her down and mounting her, but she let Elise Reed slip out every time she got the mount, and on the feet, Elise Reed just had a little too much for her, which is how she lost to Natalia Silva as well. Natalia Silva, she's an incredible fighter. She could be a fucking world champion before we know it. So there's no shame in that loss. Even before the loss to Natalia Silva, Natalia had everybody's respect because she's just shown so much skill. But I think even though Fatima Kline can have advantages on the feet, technically and with speed, she's still not Natalia Silva, and she's not nearly the kicker that Natalia Silva is. And the other loss is to Tracy Cortez, who's fighting in the main event of this very fight card. So no shame there. And to be honest, I thought that was a really close fight. I thought Tracy was better and sharper, but Jasmine made it very close. I think if Tracy's wrestling was just a little weaker, Jasmine would have won the last 2 rounds and walked away with a decision. But those are her 3 losses, and again, she's looked very durable. And in her wins, she's got 10 of them, 4 via finish, 6 via decision. She's very comfortable fighting for points and fighting long. Every one of her UFC victories has gone to round 3. The 2 decisions over Gabriela Fernandez, and Miranda Maverick, which is her best win by far. And the 3rd-round Anaconda choke she had over Priscilla Cachoeira. That was her last fight. And even though Priscilla is not the most polished fighter, she's still a good fighter. And Jasmine got her out of there down the stretch. So I just trust Jasmine a little more. Even in some fights she's had against Julia Palastri, Kay Hansen, these were fights that Jasmine won, and she won by a comfortable margin going to a decision. But both girls were able to turn it on in the end in round 3. And Jasmine was able to survive and hit that valuable takedown when she needed to and rough up Kay Hansen with some knees. And she's shown to have an answer a lot of times. So the pick is Jasmine Jasudavicius. I think she will have a tough time early with Fatima Kline, but she'll be bringing that pressure, catching up to the speed of Fatima, and slowing her down and eventually getting her to the mat. I think if Jasmine is in her face, she's going to be able to bully her, unlike anybody else that Fatima's ever fought. She's that next level of a fighter and a wrestler specifically. And I think the top pressure is the story of this fight, the top control. And that's how I see it. Jasmine Jasudavicius having a tough time in round 1, which is not to say she can't win, but a tough time. And then an easier time in rounds 2 and 3, hitting the takedowns and winning by decision. I have bet on her, but just a small bet because Fatima Kline is a lot of promise with very little doubt. So it's not something I'm looking to bet against, but plus money. I can't say no. So a small bet on Jasmine right now, and I'll wait for the props because I do have her winning by decision. But I think the odds makers will be on to that anyway. So we'll see what happens. But as of now, just a small bet and hoping to learn more about Fatima Kline. And we are going to learn a lot more about her here. If this fight goes past round 1, and I think it will, we're going to learn a lot more about her because this is by far the best fighter she's ever fought, and she's doing so under some pretty shitty circumstances. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.